Hi there. Back at Christmas time, Santa Claus brought me a Festool ETS 125 sander. I thought that was going to be amazing because I'd been using a rigid random orbital sander for years, battery powered, which meant that I needed 5 or 6 batteries in order to continue sanding for hours. Sometimes we have to sand for that long, especially on bigger projects. And I always justified that as being okay because while I'm sanding with one battery, I can have 2 or 3 other batteries charging. But I'd always heard that the sanders made by Festool were way better. And like I said, Santa Claus brought me one, so I thought, that's great. But then I realized that I wasn't going to be able to use any kind of dust extraction with it because Festool has a completely different port when it comes to connecting a hose from, I guess, Festool dust extractors to the actual tool itself, and I didn't have one of those things. And so the first thing that I did Christmas morning after opening up that box, getting my first sustainer and thinking I've gone over to the dark side, that I'd have to look and see how much a dust extractor would be. Should I get a big one? Should I get a small one? And ultimately I basically settled on CT36, probably was going to be the one that I would like with auto clean. Which is about $1,350 or something like that Canadian at the moment, which works out to way over $1,500, and that just wasn't something that I was going to be able to pull off. But that's okay. I thought maybe I'd be able to enjoy using my new sander with its little pouch on the back and hope for the best. I used it for a little while, and while it actually worked a heck of a lot better than the rigid one that I had, or any other sander that I'd used for that matter, I absolutely hated it because it just left dust all over the place. And I knew that it would take me back to years earlier when I was sanding in a small workshop in the house, where my little one at the time, she must have been about 4 years old or something, and said that it's snowing inside the house, Dada. And I thought, that's definitely not good. Yes, I was using a respirator, so I wasn't harming my lungs at the time, but it just made an absolute mess in the shop. Fast forward a couple of years, I've got a brand new shop that I've built over the last couple of years, and I've moved in, I'm making bigger projects, and I need to do a lot more sanding. So I've got this brand new sander, I'm all excited about using it, but I can't because it doesn't suck. Or at least it doesn't do dust management very well on its own. So here we are, late in the month of August, so some 8 months later. I saw an email from Lee Valley a few weeks ago saying that they had this new product on sale, or for sale rather, some kind of an adapter. So I thought, perfect. It was about $37 or something like that, so not very expensive, but I hoped that it was going to be the solution that I needed, where I'd be able to use that to connect my new Festool sander to a rigid shop vac that I had attached to a dust deputy. And unfortunately, that did not work out as planned. I went to the store and they said to me, nope, this is not going to work. This is not what you want. And I was ready to walk out when the Festool expert was there, and he had told me that basically what I could do is I could buy the hose. Now I said to the guy, look, this is something that I looked into several months ago. The actual dust extractor that I'd like to buy comes with the upgraded hose. And so why spend $205 plus tax on a hose today when I'm going to just spend another $1,500 on a hose down the road? So I didn't do that. I walked out a couple of times. But today the guy had explained to me that, no, actually, you know what? It will fit on your rigid. And I didn't know what to do, but I thought, you know what? I'm just tired of using my batteries. I'm tired of having this really good sander and not being able to use it. And so I thought, why not? I'll buy the hose. And sure enough, it connects. It actually connects to the dust stopper that is on top of my little trolley that I have a dust vac on there, or shop vac rather. And I'm sure it's not quite as efficient and might not have as much air moving through the hose as an actual Festool dust extractor might. But after sanding from 80 grit, 180 grit to 140 grit, and I passed my hand over the piece that I was sanding, sure, there was a little bit of powder on my hand, but there was none on the workbench. There was none in the air that I could see, and it was just a tiny little bit, and I can live with that because that's something that you can actually wipe off with a tack cloth or one of those blue shop towels. So why am I posting this here today? The main reason why I'm doing this is because it seems like when you look at YouTube videos, if you look at groups on Facebook, and you ask people, hey, you know, I'd like to buy something. What is it that I should get? Should I get this? Should I get that? Should I get this? And you always seem to get told, you got to go and buy the biggest. You got to go and buy the most expensive. Anything else is uncivilized and just a waste of money because you're just going to end up buying something else down the road anyway. I'll be posting a video on the subject of the saw stop that I picked a couple years ago sometime down the road because the information that I got from most sources on the internet were wrong or at least haven't been proven to be right so far. And here I am with yet another solution where I spent $200. I'm going to be able to sand to my heart's delight. And as I told my wife not too long ago, if I'm going to spend $1,000 or $1,500 on a Festool tool later on this year, ask Santa Claus for a new one. It might be a domino. It might be something else. But it's not going to be a dust extractor right off the bat because I already have something that is good enough. Is good enough good enough? For a lot of people out there, probably not. But for me, right now, absolutely 100%. So, all I want to say is, you don't always have to get the biggest. You don't always have to get the best. You don't always have to spend the most amount of money. I've got the best of both worlds here. Now I've got an excellent sander. I can use the dust extraction system with my shopvac that I set up a couple years ago more than adequately, and it didn't cost me a dime. Well, it cost me $205 for the hose, but I saved about $1,250 when it compared to what I would have spent otherwise. So guys, gals, don't always believe everything that you see online. There are solutions out there. You got to talk to the people who actually will take the time to talk to you. And the greatest thing that happened to me today over at Lee Valley is the guy could have sold me a $27 or $37 adapter or another one which was $46 plus tax, and he told me not to waste my time, that I should go with the actual hose and that I'd be more than happy. And here I am over the moon, knowing that over the next year, next year and a half, I'm not going to have to spend another $1,000 or $1,500 on a dust extraction system that is not needed right at this moment. So if you want to get yourself an upgrade when it comes to an actual sander, sure, go with Festool. The ETS 125 is fantastic. There are other ones that I've seen reviewed by Matt Outlaw at 731 Woodworks, for instance, who will tell you that they've got 2 or 3 great sanders that you can use, whether you're going to sand small pieces or if you're going to sand entire tables and board tables and so on and so forth. You might want the bigger ones, but you don't necessarily have to spend 3 or 4 times the price that you did on that really expensive sander to be able to use it to its almost full potential. So stay tuned. I will be back sometime in the coming days or weeks with information with regards to saw stop and maybe in the CNC world to tell you that yes, it is good to spend some money, sometimes a lot, but you don't have to break the bank in order to make something work. So this is Lightemized Woodshop. I'm Michael Mason, and this is my first so-called full-length video. They tell us to just basically turn the camera on and speak, so I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. Subscribe, hit that like button, and see, Becca, I'm learning from you, and I'll be seeing you again soon. Have a good day, guys.